show you something real quick, man. These screws. Look at that. That's a big no-no. Very, very, very lucky this didn't cause an issue already. I've seen people put long screws in over here and short the trace out right there going to the switches. So I'm either going to have to file these screws down because the hole's so big now. I don't know. I don't think the regular factory ones will fit, but I just wanted to point that out. And anybody ever watching this, always be careful what type of screws you use for Texas Stars. It's good to go with real short ones. Will be better. Alright, big brother. Here we have your Texas Star 350. Looks like somebody's done a power wire upgrade to it. It appears maybe their iron wasn't quite hot enough. I think I'm going to remove these wires and put some heat shrink on there. And I can see, you see the power wire down here? Feeding the output transformer. It isn't soldered real well. So I'm going to remove all that, put some heat. I like to put heat shrink on here for this very reason. You see how it splits? This type of power cable isn't a high temp insulation, so that's a lot of reasons. That's the main reason why I put heat shrink on it, is to help with that heat when I'm soldering the wires down. Let's see here. Somebody put some 180s. Yeah. We got two blown transistors here, and it appears to be the reason why. Yeah, this is your culprit right here. This resistor popped, and you had pretty much around 12 volts going to the base of the transistors. I have been working on a little circuit that will eliminate this right here from ever happening. It's hard to say why this does happen when it does, but sometimes what can happen is you'll pop one pill and it'll be catastrophic enough to go ahead and pop this as well, and then the other pill will go ahead and go. I've got a little diode circuit I've worked with in the past that I may incorporate it in the future, but anyway, go ahead and get this repaired for you. You're going to need 2 new pills. That's for sure. What is that? 1200. Alright. I see somebody took the switch out right here. Maybe it went bad and added a switch right here. This isn't Teflon wire. Not too happy about that, the way it's going over the circuit here. I just can't in good faith let that leave out of here. And also, whenever I see a Texas Star with 2 watts right here, it's fine and all. I usually like to go ahead and put 5 waters on there. It's just a little thing I like to do. Yes, that's about it there, man. So we'll go ahead and get this bad boy up and rolling. Somebody put a big hopping cap in here. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Somebody added a fan. You ain't got no inductance on the fan at all. Better ways to do this is to, well, connector on this thing is so big, it could have went one level down. It's kind of covering the hole back here. But anyway, I think he said you're just going to be giving this to somebody, so we won't put a whole lot of money into it or nothing like that. But I'm going to tell you, both of these pills are completely gone. Both 10 ohms have smoked. I'll be back.
I'm afraid to, yeah, I like that. Oh, jeez. You know,
I sucked up a lot of solder, man.
Find out, for example, what the hell it was talking about.
Yeah, the police.
Doesn't that look nasty?
You know, like they're local.
Look
He
at
was
that burnt,
on something
cooked.
pretty substantial.
Looks. Ew.
Something you can't buy at a liquor store. Let's say.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, it was. He was pretty whacked out on that. But yeah, I love the way the cop is messing with it. Like, is it a tree? And then, have you looked in the mirror? I'm afraid to. Yeah, it's very interesting gentleman at that one. But yeah, so the Wacky 911, the first CD that we did on your show, and I think it was, gosh,
How long ago was it?
It was like in 2000.
2000.
And it's just done great. So I think we sold about 15 or 20,000 units, and just a lot of people are getting a lot of enjoyment. I get a lot of dispatchers call back saying they'll put it on at a party, you know, because it's censored, so it's safe, and just gets a lot of fun response.
I'm great at a party. How could anybody listen to that whole?
Now that looks a lot better, don't it? I got OCD with this stuff. I don't want to charge people to clean their amps like this because your fingers get tired. This is my boy Andy, man. I got started with it, I couldn't quit. All that flux, man, you can't tell if you got traces shorting out against each other. With this, you can see what's going on, you know. I went ahead and shortened up. I went ahead and thickened up the path, RF path there, like I always like to do. Alright, man, let's get some new pills put in this thing, some resistors, feedback circuits, wire soldered back down. As you can see, you got your heat shrink on there. This one right here is in pretty rough condition. I had to do some Dremel work. I didn't want to cut that off. I'd had to remove these and spend a lot more time lengthening it and all that. So I just kind of soldered it up, did a little bit of smushing and whooshing, and soldering and shaping and waping. We'll be back. All right, brother. Let's drop these new HGs in, but we got a little problem. The power's out over here and there's no reason for it. Look at there. I'll try them out here soon. So, I'm gonna go find my inverter and hook my soldering iron up to a battery. I want to work, but we have no power. That's why I'd like to get some solar panels over here rigged up. We'll be back. All right, big brother, we are all done. I take pride in these Texas stars, man. I've just worked on them so many years. It is real hard for me to not get in here and clean them like this. I just can't help it. I just love to see all the flux off of them. As you all know, gatekeepers got a touch of OCD. I just flat out do. I think it's just enough a touch to not be a bad thing, but at times it can be a time waster. So anyway, man, we done a little bit to this thing for you. As you know, we had to take the power and ground wire off and clean them up a little bit and solder them down with a good hot iron, as we say down here in the South, an iron. We had to cut these wires up for you right here, man, and shape them up a little bit with this hair Dremel right here, this Dremel. And after that, bacon, we shaped it up a little bit, put a little bit more sorter on there for you, and we put good old hot iron on there, good old clothes iron, and melted it down for you and put it up there up on that board right there, righty? So, yeah, that's my little country accent character. Definitely heard enough of it my whole life. Around a lot of good old country boys out here in the Georgia area. So anyway, we got them, put some heat shrink on there, got them soldered back down with enough solder, good and clean, resoldered this, your main wire feeding the output transformer, which is feeding the collectors of the transistors. Touched up on a couple of solder spots like this one right here, a couple other things. Went ahead and replaced your 1.6 ohm resistor that was popped and threw you a 2-water in there. I think I'm gonna buy me about 1,000 of these and just start using them from here on out, man. There's a lot of times, man, if this resistor would not have popped, these pills would have been saved. I mean, Texas Star is what Texas Star is. I mean, it's as basic as it can be for the clientele that's going to be purchasing it. You know, you could take anything deeper and deeper and deeper with protection circuit. There's always 10 ways to skin a cat, as they say out here. More than one way to skin a cat. But there's a lot of times that you want these 10 ohmers to go, but you don't want this to go. You see what I'm saying? Because when them go, yeah, you're gonna have a little bit of rise up in current, but you've got one transistor not working. If this bad boy right here pops, all you've got is this 25 ohm resistor holding that power back, and that's not gonna hold it back enough to make any difference at all. You're gonna have 12 volts probably around there going to them transistors, and it's gonna fry each of them going through the base, or the or if there's one been popped and one hasn't, it's going to pop that other one. I took these right here off. They're 180s. I don't know why somebody put that on there. Which is 180s fine. I mean, I'm just saying, going by the actual schematic, they use 330s. Now, I will go ahead and let you know. You will find Texas Stars these days now without the collector shunt capacitors on there. Yes, they're doing that for 2 reasons. They get a little bit more power out of them, which also means you can blow the Texas Star a little easier, and in others, just save costs on parts. I'm just being honest with you. And I will go ahead and tell you, with these 2 capacitors off the circuit, it is doing about 50 watts PEP more. I'm just going to be truthful with you. Like just hitting it with my small radio, it's doing about 350 with these off. But I'm only driving this amplifier very lightly. These are a lot more safer for you to have these on. Okay, they're shunting a bit of your signal to ground. They're more of a safety feature than anything. Okay, and let's just put it this way: you would much rather have these capacitors on, driving a lot of power in this amp, than with them off. It's going to make it easier for you to reach the point of saturation. So I'm just leaving them on, brother. If you want to take them off, that's you. But I'd rather do it as safe as possible. There are times I may leave them off in certain amps, but it's just kind of how the amp's going, how it's working. But most of the time, it's good to leave them on. I just kind of go with the flow and see how the amp's working, you know. But anyway, like I did a 350 here not long ago, I just left them off. Well, it ain't that I left them off. There wasn't on there by factory. I just didn't put any on. But the amp was working well. It wasn't too crazy wattage wise, and so I felt good about it. But anyway, I'm just blabbing around here. So you had 2 blown pills, of course. Put your 2 new 10 ohms on there. Now there was not a sideband switch back here. I didn't have any more factory switches, but I did have these, which works just perfect. They're a double pole, double throw, single pole, double throw the switch, so I ain't using the bottom portions. So I got your delay there. Somebody was using this switch. Instead of removing this switch right here and plugging the hole or whatever, I just left it in here. You may want to use it for something in the future, maybe for the fan or something in the future. So I thought I'd just leave the switch there. Let's see here. There's something else I had to do to this thing. I removed the 104 back here. It's gonna come to me. I'm gonna look over here at my parts here. Oh yeah, I went ahead and put you 5 waters here, 39 ohms, the way they were always doing it. I have a lot of Texas Stars coming here because these is what they're using now. Saves money on parts. And like I said, this is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I use 2 watts in my builds, but I just like to keep things Texas Star-y. You know what I'm talking about? But I have seen a lot of these come in blown. I really have. And this is a 50, what is that, a blue big boys race, our young girls butt. Yeah, 56 ohms. I have to do that. Y'all still can't do it in my head. So I put brand new feedback circuits on there for you. I think that's about it, man. Cleaned it up for you really, really well. Like I said, there's a couple solder points that I fixed. And yeah, man. The fan, I'm going to throw some slide-on beads on here for you. And the ground will solder way over here. There's no reason for that. We'll just solder it right here, closer to where you have it plugged in right there. I'll do that last before I put it on. I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do about these screws. These are too long. If I can't find none around, I'm going to have to take time and grind these down, which aren't going to be the funnest things in the world because I can tell they are stainless steel. All right, let's hurry up, man. I see I only got a minute or so left. All right. We're going to be on 14.7 volts. I'd say 15.7 for some reason. All right, 14.7 volts. We're going to have the green button switched in, variable all the way up. 500 watt slug. Go. 300 watts. PP. Do. A little bit over 100 bird. Just a tad bit over. Put it on high. Do. Right there about 400. A little bit tad under 400. Do. About 160, 170, 160, 170. And like I said, yeah, I wasn't cool with that. I had to go ahead just then and delete a couple of things. The problem is I'm recording in 4K and the video is absolutely humongous. I should be doing 1080p. I usually use my camera, but anyway. So basically what I was saying was I'm only driving this thing with a tiny radio, 3 watts RMS, about 18 peak. I mean, the dang thing's doing the 350 is supposed to be doing. So, it's working great. It's working great. Go about 360, 370. Hit it a little bit harder and you know what she'll do. All right, man. Got it working for you, pal. On to the next, buddy. Yep, that one. Can't wait to see what that's about. I think you did some work on that one yourself. So let's see how much you messed it up. Nah, just, you know, I just kid with you, man. This dude right here knows, man, I just be pulling his legs sometimes. He's my buddy. All right, man, we gone. On to the next one, friends. Thanks for chilling for a little while and watching this crazy honky out here in the northeast end of Georgia. Just be himself. And be quiet, Boots. You ain't getting on this video. Wait, I ain't done. I about forgot, man. These screws are a little long. And I noticed one was about touching the output real close to the switch back there. I'm going to go ahead and cut these down. And also put you a grill on here, man. Ain't nobody needs a dang fingers halfway cut off. All right, we'll be back. That's a lot better, wouldn't you say? Now we don't even have to worry about a ground wire. Got red Teflon, red heat shrink. Clean it up. Got your nice laser cut grill. Isn't that a lot better? I probably got shade input for that, didn't I? Do-da, do-da, do-da. She's done now for sure, brother. The only thing I am going to do, I won't put on video. I'm going to put some heat shrink down where this electrical tape is. I don't like electrical tape. Not dealing with this. When you get to using heat shrink, man, you're like, out with the electrical tape, in with the heat shrink. All right, I'm gone, y'all. 73, bye-bye. I know. I had to come back, though. My hands are sticky, man. I hate this electrical tape, but looky what I found. No solder. So yeah, I'm gonna hook the old torch up to it and fill some solder in on the bottom there, and yeah, put some adhesive remover on here and get this heat shrink put on it. Yeah. A lot better. Just some acetone, got all the sticky residue off. Soldered each one. I love torches. See, people don't slow down and think, or some people don't slow down and think of how much time it takes to do this. What I personally like to call dirt work. That's just the name I gave it. Dirt work meaning simple work. It takes time. Not exactly work you enjoy doing, like connectors and stuff. You know, that took me 30 minutes just to do that. I mean, it's time, you know. Maybe a little longer, probably about 45 actually. Alright, she's 100% done. I promise I won't be back now. 73rd.